Hi guys, it's Nova here. I got this idea from Crystal Lubricant. I'm going to show you the steps that I take to Facetune my photos. A little bit of a tutorial. Obviously, in doing this, I don't believe Facetune your photos is cheating in any way. I think if you guys want to see what I really look like, you've only got to watch our videos, or loads of you have met me in person. I think everybody looks better on video because a moving image, you're not paying attention so much to specific things. It's a bit more distracting. People are usually talking or performing. Whereas a static still photograph on social media, I think opens up a lot more to people analyzing and picking apart little things. So I don't have anything against face tuning, so long as it's done well, it's not too obvious, and you're not taking the piss. It still needs to look like you. So with that being said, let's go into Facetune, open up one of my photos, and I'll show you what I do. So I don't use Facetune 2, I use the original Facetune. I did try the second one before and I don't really get how that works. But this is a photo of me from when we gave our drag makeovers to our friends Izzy and Ash. And the most important thing about taking a decent selfie is you need good lighting for a start. So here I've used our lighting for our recording, so it already is a good start. Zooming in here, the very first thing I will do is use the whiten tool, and I will gently swipe across my teeth, just left to right, and then you can see here the difference that makes. It just brightens them, it takes away some of the yellowiness, but you don't want to go too crazy, it still needs to look fairly natural. And then a good little tip is you can actually use this tool on your eyes as well. So here I'm just going around in like a C shape either side of my iris. See, before and after, it just brightens that up. I'll do that again on this eye. See, it really does help to brighten up the eyes. So that is the first step that I do. Next, carrying on with the eyes, I will go across to the red eye tool, and I do this kind of in a backwards way. I'm not going to use the white eye tool, I'm going to use the red eye tool. I'm going to change the palette to this kind of light grey colour here, and if you move your little cursor to the outer corner of the eye and then enlarge it, do you see how it gets rid of the kind of pinky colours and also helps to brighten it even further? So I just do that in the outer corners. I'll do that again here as well and enlarge it, and this doesn't matter if it overlaps onto your eyeshadow because it just changes the colour of it to kind of like a grey colour, so you can overlap that and it's fine. So if I click the tick here, now if you look at the eyes, you can see what those two effects combined have done. So that's before and that's after. Do you see it just really brightens them up and makes them look a lot fresher? Okay, next up, I never ever use the smooth tool. I think people go crazy with the smooth tool and they end up looking like pancakes. I don't think it's a very good tool to use. I prefer to use the defocus tool, and this is to kind of get rid of any texture that I don't really want on show. So I have this weird little crease in my chin here that I will just gently, again, very gentle strokes, just to get rid of that. See, before and after, that's that gone. I'm gonna get rid of the bags, or not really get rid, soften the bags under my eyes with the same tool. You've got to be really gentle with this tool though, because it can be a bit extreme. So very small, very light strokes. I'm also going to just blend in some of this gradient here, the black into the white. You see, I think here where I'm losing definition, I've gone a bit crazy. So I'm going to get the eraser tool and just lightly kind of tap that to get some of the texture back. That looks good to me. Back to the defocus tool. This area here where my natural brows are coming through, I'm just doing again light little swipes just to blend that together. Again, I'm really not a fan of where it goes completely smooth. I always want to see some kind of texture, so if that ends up happening, I will just erase it a little bit until I get a little something coming back through again. There we go. See, that just looks so much more natural. And then again here I've got a little bit of texture in my eyeshadow. So the defocus tool, the same small swipes, and you can see here where I've gone over my lashes a little bit, so the eraser tool just to bring out the lashes again. Done. So if I zoom out of that eye, and then you can see before and after, it's just much cleaner and softer without taking the piss. If we do the same on the other eye, I'm going to defocus the bag under my eye there, a little bit on this gradient here. Again, when my natural brow is just coming through, just softening that up a little bit. And the same with the eyeshadow here. It's a shame that you guys can't see the actual cursor where I'm touching, but I think you can see the effects of what I'm doing. There we go. I think that will do. Now this tool is also what I will use to soften my lace fronts. So this one in particular, I clearly hadn't cleaned properly. It's so bloody dark. So using the defocus tool again, I'm going to be swiping in very soft, small kind of semicircle shapes, going from right to left. I'm going from the lace into my skin. You do not want to go over into the hair, and you don't want to go too much into your forehead either. You really just want to try and soften that line. There is kind of like a knack to doing this. Again, I don't feel like it's cheating too much. I know I keep saying that, but it's still, obviously there's lace on show and it's still a lace front. This just kind of softens it a bit. It doesn't completely get rid of it. And then you can see there's some areas here where, like I said before, I hate it when it's completely smooth. So I'm just going to erase those, bring some of that texture back so it looks more natural. That looks better. See the difference? I've also got a little bit of texture here that I'm just gonna soften a little bit. Perfect. So this is what we've done so far. This is it before and after. So there's not many other stages that I want to do. I do want to show you how I'm going to kind of cover up these little marks on my eyebrows. Now that I'm going to use the patch tool, and the patch tool works a little bit like the clone stamp tool of Photoshop. So I'm going to select the area that I want to edit. I can make that kind of bigger if I want to, and then this little guy here, he is going to be the target and is going to overlay an area in that target on your first area. So if I come here to a tidier part of my brow, I can overlay it like that. And do you see? It just kind of tidies it up. So that looks much better there. And then I've got a little bit here as well. The same thing I'm going to do. So you start off with your target area and then overlap it a little bit until it looks the most natural. There. Perfect. I've also noticed, I think this is where my lashes have started, a little gap here. So to try and fill in this little gap in my lashes, I'm actually going to use a new tool called the Tones tool. I'm going to use the picker, which is the pipette, for the black in my lashes here. and then using the tones tool. This is a bit like just a brush. I'm not really sure what kind of brush setting you can compare it to in Photoshop, but it's not like a straight up, do you see what I mean? Like it's not a straight up brush. Oh, I'll have to undo that now, obviously. It kind of just darkens a little bit. So I'm going to go over here with that brush a few times just to fill that in. That looks better. And then also just to darken these areas here a little bit. And again, if I feel like I've gone a bit too overboard, I am using the erase tool. I don't want it to be too crazy. That looks better. Do I need to do it over here? No, I think that looks good. So that's basically it. That's all the stages that I'm going to take to Facetune this picture. So you got the before here and the after. I think the trick is just not going too far with it. It still needs to look like you. It just needs to look like the best version of you. So yeah, that is my little Facetune tutorial. I'm planning to do a Photoshop airbrushing tutorial very soon. Hopefully that is of some use to you guys. I think it's really helpful to drag queens in particular. I've seen so many drag queens try to Facetune their faces, and it's just it's so easy to go overboard, and it's just like, girl, who are you kidding? Like, your face does not look like that in real life. It's just a smooth pancake. You're crazy. The only other tip that I would say about face tuning is if you're face tuning your own face in a group photo, you have to face tune everybody in the photo, otherwise you're going to stand out looking way too flawless a million miles in front of everyone else. You've got to face tune everyone else in the photo. You can't just do yourself. It doesn't work that way. Anyway, this was fun. I hope you guys liked this video, and look out for my Photoshop tutorial coming soon. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, youtube.com/Novympia. And if you feel like checking out our Patreon, check that out too, patreon.com/Novympia. I'll see you soon, guys. Bye. Today's patron spotlight goes to New Teller. Ooh, Teller.